Happy 2026, beautiful friend. Let's talk about January 2026. I have my ginger turmeric tea with honey because my voice is a bit hoarse. So thank you for bearing with me. But I really wanted to get this video out to you before the first week in January. So as we enter January 2026, we have just ended a 9-year cycle. 2025 was a 9 universal year. We are entering a 1 universal year and beginning a brand new cycle, which is in perfect alignment with Neptune, the planet of our dreams, our visions, our co-creations, re-entering Aries to stay until 2039. Neptune in fiery, just say yes, risk-taking, pioneering Aries is marking this new era, a major astrological cycle that will begin in January. Not only this, 2026 is the year of the fire horse, supporting us to claim our freedom, the wild, unbridled force of life within you, which says, I'm doing this. I'm doing this because I'm inspired, because I feel called. I don't know why. I don't know if I can succeed, but I'm motivated. I feel the momentum. And so I'm saying yes. So this month of January, if you are working with the astrological transits that I'm going to share with you in part 1 of this video, the key dates and transits of the month, and your monthly horoscopes, which will be in part 2, you are going to get very clear on what you want to take into 2026 and the new era, what holds gusto and power and excitement for you, and what doesn't, what is no longer sustainable, what you must release and let go to gallop like the fire horse toward your inspired destiny. So I'm very excited to get into these key dates and transits in your horoscopes, but first I want to say welcome if you are brand new to the channel, if we are just meeting. I'm so glad you are here. If you're highly sensitive, on a spiritual path, or an ascension journey, you are in the right place. Take a moment right now to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a video. Welcome back to all of you lovely people who have subscribed, who've been watching. I'm so glad that you're part of this community. And if you are new, I'm Betsy. I'm a psychic astrologer, intuitive life coach, and the author of the book, The Magic of Saying Yes, Answering Your Heart's True Calling. It is my dedication to empower you and inspire you through Western tropical astrology. And it is also my passion to meet you on Zoom for one-on-one live astrology readings. If that intrigues you, stay tuned till the end of the video. I'll tell you more about my offerings. I also have a free gift for you. I'll tell you about that at the end. And if you'd like to receive my weekly inspirational astrology updates, you can go to my website, subscribe for free, and get my free gift instant download at the same time. Now, as the month opens, we are still in Capricorn season until the 19th, and all the personal planets, the Sun, Mercury, Mars, and Venus, are all in Capricorn. The personal planets are what we feel on a daily basis. So with all of these planets in the same sign of Capricorn, which is connected to what we have to get done, our work, our responsibilities, our goals, you could be feeling a strong desire to be productive. Capricorn is known for its ambition, the mountain goat. What is the next mountain I can climb? It's Saturn ruled, and Saturn is long-term sustainability, enduring structures, where we want to build a solid, sustainable foundation. So when I do your 12-sign readings, be listening for where these planets are transiting your natal astrology chart, and this will validate most likely where your energy is focused the first part of the month. And in fact, Mercury entered Capricorn on January 1st, which is probably the reason I'm feeling so fired up to do this video. I'm communicating with you, Mercury. I'm sharing your astrology of the month, Mercury, and I'm working through some vocal issues as I do so. This is a great time to be talking with other people, sharing your plans, sharing what is most on your heart and your mind right now to accomplish any transactions that you want to complete. That's Mercury as well. And any long-term plans that you want to see through. On January 3rd, we're going to have our first full moon of 2026 right out of the gate in the home, family, emotional security focused sign of Cancer. Cancer energy takes us straight to our hearts. It's what makes us feel good, what makes us feel safe, what we need to feel taken care of. So big picture, this full moon wants you to think about your personal needs. Cancer is very personal energy. But it's a full moon, so that is a culmination, an ending, or a manifestation, something coming to fruition. And that means we're balancing two ends of the spectrum. That's full moons. They are oppositions between the sun and the moon. We're balancing the Cancer energy with the Capricorn energy. And with so many planets, a whole party of planets in Capricorn, work could be very much on your mind, or other responsibilities, other commitments. And you could feel a push-pull between these two. I have a separate video for you already out on this Cancer full moon. One thing I didn't mention in that video is that the moon is conjunct the star Sirius. Sirius represents our soul's destiny, fulfilling our potential, and even awakening to an aspect of your potential, perhaps a soul essence, a part of you that has not yet been given expression in this lifetime. You could also have a beautiful heart opening with this full moon conjunct Sirius, a moment of understanding, recognition, or a reality check. And those words sound harsh. What I mean by that is a knowing in your heart that you have to put something that's very personal and true for you first. You have to prioritize it, and that may bring you to making some sort of course correction. Out of self-love, self-respect, self-honoring, you may also feel the need to draw a line with another person, to set a boundary, or heal a pattern within a relationship. And this could end up being a defining moment for you, my friend. This could end up being one of those decisions or shifts that you make that later you look back on this time and you say, I'm so glad I drew that line or set that boundary or cut that tie, because that's when my energy opened up, space opened up for me to follow something that was more of a match for who I have become, because we have evolved tremendously. Remember 2025, a 9-year, we emptied out, we let go, we surrendered, we let go of a lot. 2024 as well. So I encourage you to think of this full moon. If an emotional truth comes to light, if something feels heavy, Capricorn energy, all those planets there can feel quite heavy. If something feels heavy, if you have to acknowledge something that is hard, but you've seen the truth, once we see the truth, we can't go back, right? I really want to encourage you. We have to grieve if there's a grieving, but I really want to encourage you to understand that you are creating space for something new and exciting that fits you now. So who is going to feel this full moon most intensely and personally? It's happening at 13 degrees of Cancer. And so those of you who have planets or points between 9 and 17 degrees of Cancer, or the other cardinal signs, Capricorn, Aries, or Libra, you will feel this most personally. From January 6th to 9th, you may get some wonderful clarity. Why do I say this? Because we're going to experience two kazimis. What is a kazimi? It is when the sun comes together with another planet. And from the 6th to the 9th, you will very possibly feel the sun coming together, making a conjunction to Venus, and then the sun coming together with Mars. And Venus and Mars as personal planets are strong motivators for us. Venus is all of the earthly delights that we love: beauty, pleasure, comforts, joy, our creativity, our money. Venus rules love and relationships. Almost everything we experience is within the context of relationship or the context of our relationships with ourselves. So kazimis are known for clarity. They amplify the energy. Because of this, we often have aha moments. We see something through a different lens. I was blind, but now I see. And when the sun makes a conjunction to Mars, that is when we feel that drive, that mojo, that motivation, or that desire or willingness to take action, that gets activated. Now, beginning January 12th, around mid-January, you could feel this on either side of this day, the 12th, let's say the 12th to the 15th most intensely. We're going to have a very interesting configuration called a cardinal T-square, and I'm going to break it down for you. We will have the Sun, Mars, and Venus, what we call a stellium in Capricorn, closely aligned in close conjunction. This stellium of Capricorn planets is going to make an opposition to Jupiter in Cancer, which is retrograde. And this Capricorn stellium, Jupiter in Cancer opposition is going to make a T-square with Chiron, now direct, in Aries. So what does this mean? The opposition between the Capricorn planets and Jupiter asks for balance. Jupiter is the planet of expansion. It's the planet of faith. It's the planet of blessings and good fortune. But it can also amplify our emotions, positive or negative. And Chiron in Aries represents a core wound. We all came into this lifetime with one: abandonment, betrayal, or shame. And so Chiron in Aries is being activated, telling us it is time, it is ripe, the opportunity is auspicious and here for us to heal, helped us to heal a core wound. And in Aries, that core wound is often connected to performance issues, feeling like you have to do it so well, you have to be the best, or you have to be successful. There's no room for error. It's where we can have a deep sensitivity, we feel very vulnerable, we can feel competitive with others. And so it brings up our frailties, perfectionism perhaps, or excuses of why we're not going to say yes to our heart, why we're not going to take a risk and go do that thing that feels scary. And so this is ready to be softened, if not fully healed, because Chiron wounds can take time. And of course, whether you feel this or not will depend on if it's being activated in your natal astrology chart, something I can illuminate for you in an astrology reading. But if there ever was a time to do some inner child healing work, which I have a separate video for you on, linked in the description box below, if there ever was a time to give yourself some space to open up to any vulnerability or insecurity making itself known to you, this would be a beautiful time, because we are headed into this new era of Neptune in Aries. And this is going to help us to muster the courage and strength and the mojo to go after what may feel like a reach or a stretch. That's Aries energy. Aries is the challenge itself that spurs us on. Now, I also think that this could feel like one last test of faith, one last hurdle, because Jupiter is connected to faith. And I believe that this T-square is supporting us to up-level our self-confidence, our belief in ourselves, and our faith that the universe has our back. When we can give ourselves permission to go into any fears arising, to process them so that we can receive the blessing of Jupiter in Cancer, emotional freedom. On January 17th, Venus will enter Aquarius. So now we're going to begin to see some of these personal planets moving into the sign of Aquarius. Venus in Aquarius is a thinker. She is motivated toward the greater good. Aquarius is connected to the humanitarian, to tribe, community, what's best for everyone. But Venus in Aquarius can also be a bit detached emotionally. Usually our social lives pick up when Venus is in an air sign, or you could just be focused on technology, getting a new device maybe, or studying astrology. But this Venus is going to be even more activated when we get toward the end of the month, which I'll talk about in a few moments. On January 18th, we're going to have a new moon, a new manifestational cycle, a new beginning, an opportunity to set intentions for your next co-creation in the Earth sign of Capricorn. The interesting thing about this new moon is it's happening at 28 degrees, which is 1 degree away from the very last degree of the sign, indicating that we are letting go of the past a little bit still. If you've been watching my videos, you know I've been emphasizing that we've had, I think it's been or will be 7 new moons at 28 degrees. Which reduces to a 1, that is new beginnings. That's in alignment with a brand new cycle, a brand new moon. But being the second to the last degree, that says we can't drag into 2026 what is no longer serving us. So this new moon for you could feel like a wrapping up at the same time. And in Capricorn energy, we are supported to be discerning, to be wise, to tap into our wise elders, or to get support from experts or other people who we trust, who we see as wise, who can help us perhaps advance in our goals or ambitions. So discernment is one theme of this new moon, so is boundaries. And what I love about this new moon, and I will do a separate video for you on it, what I love about it is that the Sun, Moon, and Mercury are all trining Uranus, the Great Awakener. A trine to Uranus from these personal planets is like, do that novel thing, say yes to that invitation, do something that's out of the ordinary, be inventive, be innovative, don't hold back, and really take seriously, Capricorn, any insights that you're getting from Uranus, because Uranus is connected to the cosmic intelligence. And Uranus is doing its very last pass in Taurus. So again, that's the finishing out energy. Not only this, but Neptune and Saturn will still be in Pisces during this new moon. They are doing their very last pass in Pisces. And they are also harmonizing with the new moon, closing out that old Pisces energy. So we are meant to release any over-sacrificing, codependent patterns, feeling victimized, but also allowing any grief process. If there is something leaving your life that you wouldn't choose to leave, we do want to honor the part of us that may be grieving that loss. Now, one more thing about this new moon, Venus and Pluto will be conjunct in Aquarius, and this is very strong energy, Pluto and Venus coming together. It's a conjunction, and conjunctions can go either way. To our human selves, they can be positive or negative. They are meant to be on the same page, and Venus and Pluto, that can be complicated relationships. That can be murky waters. Saying yes to something because you're afraid that nothing better is going to come along, even though you know that you're making some sort of sacrifice or compromise or you're settling. And we're going into a brand new era, a brand new year. We don't want to go into this new year with a new moon settling for something, right? At the same time, Venus and Pluto coming together can be an up-leveling, and this is what I am advocating for. Venus, money, power, the right use of power, pleasure, relationships, love. With Pluto, that could be passionate relationship if it's in integrity with your soul and the other person's soul. So my friend, for this new moon, my tips are connect to your truth, get fiercely honest with yourself about what you really want and is what's showing up for you. Is this a match for that? Will it further your passionate desires? And always with Pluto transits, I encourage you to be very conscious of your boundaries. Who will most feel this new moon in Capricorn? It's happening at 28 degrees. So those of you with planets or points between 24 and 29 degrees of the cardinal signs, Capricorn, Cancer, Aries, or Libra, you will feel it most personally and intensely, as well as those of you who have planets or points between 0 and 3 degrees of the fixed signs, Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, or Scorpio. Of course, we all feel the new and full moons collectively, regardless of whether they are strongly activating our charts or not. On January 19th, the energy will begin to shift palpably. This is when the sun enters Aquarius. Aquarius season will begin, and that stellium of planets, personal planets in Capricorn, will begin to move on, leaving the Capricorn house in your natal astrology chart, entering your Aquarian house. Aquarius energy is different from Capricorn energy in that it is fixed air. Capricorn is cardinal earth. What are we building in this earthly life? Aquarius is the stars, the cosmic intelligence, but it's also community. How can we make the world a better place? What can we do that's new and different and takes us into new, more expansive territory? In other words, how can we go beyond where we've gone before? So we'll feel this globally and we'll feel this in our own lives. And this includes technological advances as well. But there are still some Capricorn Saturnian vibes because Aquarius is co-ruled by Saturn. Saturn and Uranus, which can make strange bedfellows, right? So we have the co-ruler of Aquarius, Uranus, the highest octave of which is enlightenment, wanting to expand the mind, wanting connection with others when it wants it. Sometimes Aquarius is like, no. You may have seen the Aquarian astrological meme. I love people, just not individual people. It's a meme, Aquarians. You can weigh in on this in the comments if you want. But we all have Aquarius energy somewhere in our natal astrology chart. And wherever you have that, my friend, it may be harder for you to change your mind, to see other perspectives. Why? Because it's fixed air. Fixed is like, I already have a set idea of how things are. So it can take a lot to change our perspective in Aquarian energy. So on January 19th, the sun will join Venus as it enters Aquarius. January 20th, Mercury will enter Aquarius, and January 23rd, Mars will enter Aquarius. What is most important for you to know is that all of these personal planets are going to take their turn meeting up exactly with transformational Pluto. Pluto, which I call the great detoxifier. Pluto can be passion or pain. We can be pulled forward by a vision or we can be pushed by pain. That's a paraphrase of a Michael Bernard Beckwith quote. Pluto wants to bring us closer to our own authenticity. It wants to help us peel back any layers, shed any skin that is not true and authentic to who we are, especially when we are staying with things just because they're comfortable. When we are depending on other people, situations, jobs, you name it, because we think we need them, to feel safe, to feel secure on this earth. So when that's not true for us anymore, Pluto says, I'm going to help you see that you actually don't need that because you're too dependent on it. And that's not fun. I really want to acknowledge when that happens, but you're not necessarily going to feel that. Some of you might during these conjunctions of the personal planets to Pluto. Why is this? Because when a personal planet is conjunct Pluto, they're both, theoretically at least, on the same page. They're working together. And this can be an up-leveling, this can be a passion, this can be an obsession even toward something that you are just single-mindedly focused on. Be very positive. But Pluto can also bring hard truths to light. It can show us something that's been hidden that we have to see if it's not in integrity with our soul's path, our destiny, our 2026 soul's desire. And so I don't want anyone to be scared by the fact that Pluto is making all of these conjunctions, but what I do want to offer you is that if fears do come up around this time, this is the time to process them with whatever modality you use. If you've been watching my videos, you know I love EFT tapping. There are a lot of ways that we can metabolize, purge, process our fears, right? Often these fears come from experiences that we've had in past lifetimes or in childhood. And they don't need to play out for us again, but they steal our power if we let them. And when we do go deep into that fear and we do process it and let it leave our psyche and the physicality of our bodies, then we can rise like the phoenix from the ashes, as we say with Pluto, and feel whole again, feel brand new again, ready to take on something that we never would have taken on had we not done that emotional clearing. So the dates of these Pluto and Aquarius conjunctions are January 19th, Venus will conjoin Pluto. January 22nd, Mercury will take its turn coming together with Pluto. January 23rd, the Sun will conjunct Pluto. January 27th, Mars will conjunct Pluto. This span of, and you could feel it for a week, could be a super fired up time for you. We could see some shocking revelations in the news or in the collective. This could be a very volatile time in financial markets. People could be rising to power. People could be falling from power. But I want to encourage all of us to, and I will be doing this myself, to stay as much as possible in the highest vibration of love, knowing that our own energy and vibration is very much contributing to the vibration of the planet. And let's harness this up-leveling Pluto energy, the passion of Pluto, by being fiercely honest with ourselves about what our heart is truly desiring right now. And my encouragement is no more compromising, no more walking on eggshells, no more settling for less. We're past that now. And we can't bring that into 2026 and freely gallop forward like the fire horse. Now, probably the most important transit of January is happening January 26th when Neptune re-enters Aries to stay until 2039. This marks the beginning of the new era, officially, Aries being the first sign of the zodiac, encouraging fresh, bold, new starts, moving into new territory. Neptune, the planet of our dreams, our visions, and our connection to the divine, the highest octave of unconditional love. Aries is the Fool card in the tarot. Leap in the net will appear. I don't know if I can be successful, but I just know that I have to say yes. Don't ask me for a well-reasoned plan, because in Aries energy, we probably don't have one, but it's okay to take one step at a time, one baby step at a time, out of inspiration and joy and excitement. Now, keep in mind that just 2.5 weeks later, after Neptune enters Aries, Saturn will follow suit and enter Aries on February 14th. They will both come together on February 20th at the 0 point, which represents a global reset. It represents pure potential. It represents unlimited possibility, yet unmanifested potential that we all have within us. In other words, the world is your oyster. So my friend, I have a question for you, and that is, if time, money, and resources were not at issue, if you had the freedom, the drive, the support that you needed, what would you say yes to? Because we are about to embark on what will go down in history, either collectively or personally or both, as an epic year of change and new beginnings. So onward and upward, 2026, here we come. Now, where will you be feeling these major transits of January in your natal astrology chart? My beautiful friend, let's do your 12-sign readings now. Please forgive my hoarse voice. Listen to your rising sign. This reveals the area of your natal astrology chart corresponding to the area of your life in which you are going to be feeling the transits that I talk about. Also watch your sun and your moon signs for further messages that you may also resonate with. And we're going to start with Aquarius because beautiful Aquarius, January begins your season, January 19th to be exact. And happy birthday to all of you January born Aquarians. And this month, Aquarius, I believe that by the end of the month, when we are well into your season, you are going to feel unstoppable or at the very least transformed. And I'll tell you why as we get into it. The month will begin with a party of planets, a stellium of planets in Capricorn in your 12th house. When we have a number of planets going through the 12th house, which is connected to your inner mystic, it's not of this world, it's the ethereal realms, it's your dream state, it is your connection to the divine, it is your subconscious mind, and often where we are tasked to do subconscious reprogramming. We become aware of our inner narrative. We become aware sometimes of our self-sabotaging behaviors. So when we have so many planets transiting the 12th house, we can often feel like we are between worlds or we have one foot in each world. And you may experience this when we have the full moon in Cancer, which happens right out of the gate, January 3rd. This is going to be this full moon, an ending, like all full moons, an ending, culmination, manifestation, full circle moment. But a full moon, we're more emotional with full moons, generally speaking. We feel them in our relationships. There are what we call oppositions. I have a separate video for you on this full moon already, so you can go watch that if you want a deeper dive, which I encourage. But where is this happening for you? It's happening in your opposite house from the 12th house where all the Capricorn planets are, the ethereal realms. It's happening in your real world, everyday life, 6th house. What do I mean by this? The 6th house is your daily work. It's your health on all levels, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. It's where we become aware of anything toxic in our life, if that's present, and where we are supported to release, especially during a full moon, to release anything that is done and over for us that isn't supporting us, that isn't supporting our overall well-being. So you could very well experience this during this full moon in Cancer. And it can also have to do with your lifestyle, like, a lifestyle ending or shifting in some way, or something to do with a pet. Just know that you are doing this 12th house, 6th house balancing act during this full moon, and that an emotional truth may be revealed. Something can surface that you were not aware of before. And we really are supported during this Cancer full moon because Cancer is highly sensitive and it's our, what makes us feel emotionally secure, and it's connected to home and family. So you could have some sort of revelation during this full moon, Aquarius, about what has to go for you, what isn't in alignment with you, what is, there are people in our lives, some of us, that are going on a different trajectory, like, so many different words for this in the metaphysical world, but timeline, vibration, we're not always in alignment with the people that we love in consciousness. And so you could feel that something is shifting and you have to pay attention to that. And that may mean that you set a boundary or cut a tie or take a break from a relationship or, let go of a job. You get the idea. Or be let go from a job, which I hope doesn't happen to any of you. But if it does, it's because it's not for your greatest good, so to speak. It's not in alignment with you anymore. And mid-month, we're going to have what I talked about in part 1 of this video. Go back and watch it if you haven't, since this is your season, Aquarius, when you have time. It's called the Cardinal T-Square. And so this is happening for us, as all astrology is happening for us, to help us to see where we can heal something within our hearts, an inner child core wound as we call it, abandonment, betrayal, or shame, where we can heal something that is going to be a very pivotal part of it's like a preparation, that healing for what we are doing going forward this month and this year. So it's important. On January 18th, that's when we start fresh again. We've done the healing, we've done the letting go, we've done the releasing, and then January 18th, you're going to experience your new moon in Capricorn in your 12th house. So again, we go back to that 12th house, but it's a new moon, so it's a vision. So it could be a vision or a new beginning, a new manifestational cycle. It could be for you a real sense of, you could really be feeling your guides. You could really be feeling your angels. You could really be tuned into the otherworldly reality, which I love. And you could be getting some important, unimportant divine download. You could be getting a message that is important for you going forward. And after you've done this, or doing some, reprogramming of the subconscious mind, your story, your narrative, healing perhaps an addiction, being very resolute maybe about something for your health and steps that you plan to take to honor your health and really, let go of any behavior or thought pattern that isn't supportive. And this is preparing us, Aquarius, for when the sun enters your sign. Your season begins on January 19th. This is the official start of Aquarius season. And by the 23rd, we're going to have, in addition to the sun and Venus, we will have Mars and Mercury in Aquarius too. So now that whole party of planets that was in Capricorn has moved on into your first house. And the first house is the I'm coming out. I'm not going to sing because my voice just isn't up to it right now, but it's that I'm coming out song. I want the world to know. I got to let it show. You've done that clearing with the party of planets in your 12th house. You've done that clearing. And then by the time we get to the 23rd, there's all these meetups with Pluto in your first house of the personal planets. So I'm not going to go deep into that in these 12 sign readings because I go deep into that in part 1 of this video, the different ways that could play out. It is a conjunction for you, and conjunctions can go either way. I will say that. Which way, how to work with the energy, I talk about in part 1 of this video. It will be transformational for you, most likely. This is why I'm saying unstoppable. I think it's going to renew you. Don't be afraid to purge any fears that arise and step fully into your power, Aquarius, because I'm just getting this image right now of like, how the snake sheds its skin, like the skin coming off of the snake and it having new colors, new soul essence, new expression. That's the image I'm getting for you. So let me pull a card for you now. And it's really up-leveling energy. It's saying, say yes to your passion, follow it, purge the fears that come up, because we always have fears when we're afraid of doing something new. That's just a natural. Our human self doesn't want us to change. Our human self doesn't care about growth. Our soul wants the growth. Now we could say, yes, no, I want to grow. My human self wants to grow, but you get the idea. Change is scary to the ego mind. Okay, so Aquarius, let's see what the cards have to say. And thank you so much for taking a moment to like this video. If you would subscribe, if you haven't yet subscribed, it will make a huge difference to the support of my channel. And thank you so much for being here. Love your comments too. Aquarius, let's see what your card is. It is, this reminds me of the 12th house, where a lot of that energy will be in Capricorn this month for you. The will of the wisp, treasures hidden in the shadows. Pluto is the shadows. Not always, it can be passion, but Pluto is the unconscious. It is the underworld. So this is saying, look at all this lit up blue energy. This is so throat chakra to me, so throat chakra. This is saying that, and then this, I love this image because it's so 12th house. It's like this being that is attached, to only the neck, right? Attached to the planet or the circular object that it's on. And it's inviting you to go into the depths, go into the shadows. You're going to find a treasure. You can use my guided meditation that you can download for free on my website. To do that, you can use one of the meditations I have on YouTube that are linked in the description box below. But whatever you do, say yes to doing that deeper dive into your own murky waters, or you're only just being curious. What's underneath? What's the treasure? What's the gift? What's the metaphor that Spirit wants to give me so that I can rise like the phoenix and be born again and be renewed and be unstoppable? Beautiful Aquarius. Capricorn. Hello, beautiful Capricorn. Forgive my voice. It's a little bit hoarse. I'm just coming through. I feel good. I just don't sound as good. So thank you for giving me grace. Happy, happy birthday to those of you who have January birthdays or who had December birthdays at the end of the month there. Capricorn, my headline for you, I think you're going to be fired up this month. I think this month is going to transform you from the inside out. And I'm going to tell you why as we break this down. The month begins with a party of planets in your first house. We could call it a conference. This is Capricorn energy after all. And I don't mean to say that you guys are so serious, but Capricorn energy is connected to productivity, efficiency, and work, and building a solid, sustainable foundation. Without your energy, Capricorn, we would not have the long-lasting, enduring goal mindset, success-oriented, kinds of teachings in the world. So I'm grateful to you for that. Now, all these planets in Capricorn, as the month begins, are in your first house of identity, your roles, your status, your vitality, and that affects all angles of your chart. It can affect career or life purpose expressed. It can affect relationships, partnerships. It can affect home, family. And so this all comes down to sort of your own sense of status or identity in your life, in any of these areas, really. But often when we have first house planets, we are coming out in some way. First house planets transiting, we are coming out in some way. We are expressing, we are, depending on how these transits are sparking, activating anything in your first house, like your rising sign. Some of you have other planets in your first house. This is where we see the action. And of course, I have to see your astrology chart to decode that for you. But what I want to share with you now is that, your vitality could be at an all-time high, or you could feel that it's somehow compromised. When I say vitality, I mean your health, your energy levels. You could be shifting a role. You could be changing a relationship status. You could be wanting to come out with a new identity at work or in your personal life. We're going to have on January 3rd, just a couple of days after the month begins, a full moon in Cancer in your 7th house. So that is a culmination, full circle moment, ending or completion or manifestation in your house of committed relationships. You will feel this in your relationships. And, you'll feel it more intensely if you're one of the most affected, which I talk about both in my Cancer full moon video and in the beginning of this part 1 of this video. You are balancing what you need, Capricorn, all those first house planets, transiting first house planets, you are balancing that with needs in a relationship. And if you say, well, I'm not in a relationship, we always think of romantic relationships, right? With relationships, it can be any relationship that's important to you now. It can be a relationship with an adult child. It could be a relationship with a coworker or a boss. It can be a relationship with a best friend. Any relationship in which you have your back and you have their back and they have your back, but often there's some sort of commitment or unspoken agreement with 7th house transits. So this is likely where you would experience this. An emotional truth could surface for you. We are, with this full moon, I believe we are becoming clear on what we are taking into 2026 and, still committing to, what we're still committed to in relationship for you and what you want to release. Maybe a truth comes to light. Maybe you realize something about a relationship or somebody that you have been working with, someone you've been counting on, someone who's been counting on you, and you realize that your paths are diverging, even if it's temporary. We don't know, right? On this soul path, we don't know. Is this a temporary parting or is this I'll see you on the other side parting? We don't know. And that can be hard. I want to acknowledge that. But it won't be murky, I don't think. I think it will be very clear because the universe, the astrology is preparing us to be very clear on what is in support of us now, which people, which situations, which projects, which passions are in support and alignment with us now, and which ones are not. There's going to be a cardinal T-square mid-month, which says time to do our inner child healing. I talk about that at length in part 1 of this video. And then on January 19th, the sun will enter Aquarius. And you will feel this, and all those personal planets in Capricorn are going to move into your Aquarian second house. So you will feel all this big shift of planets from the first to the second, and this puts a focus on your material security, your earned income, your self-worth, your deserving, this feeling we all want to have, which is all of my material needs are met, and then some. And by the 23rd, in addition to the sun, Venus, Mars, and Mercury will all be in your second house, and they will all meet up with Pluto. I do a deep dive on this in part 1. But what this means, big picture, is a transformational Aquarius season, because all these planets meeting up with Pluto, there's something important for you happening in your second house. There definitely is. And if you're not feeling this in terms of earned income or self-worth and deserving, maybe wanting to heal, if there's anything within you that has been sabotaging your ability to earn more, if that's important to you, or your ability to feel like you're materially secure, this could have to do with, long-term security, like long-term building a nest egg or a savings or owning a home, or, emotional and sexual intimacy, deep bonds with other people where we share resources, time, money, and energy. You could feel it there, depending on how it's activating any of your 8th house energy. But these planets will be transiting your second house. I want to make that clear. And that's more personal. It's more generally about your own inner sense of security and your own earned income. And Pluto can say, we're transforming this. The way you used to make money, we're going to make money differently now. What we used to count on, that's no longer. Or you could be super passionate and fired up about going for something, adding something, the way that you make money or the way that you feel secure. I don't want to make this just about money. For some of you, it may not be about that. Overall, my encouragement to you is to purge any fears that could come up around self-worth or self-reliance or stepping out or up-leveling, asking for promotion, taking a step that feels out of your comfort zone in the direction of enhancing your material life. This is a time to follow your passion and to say yes to self-reliance and knowing that you can do it. And I'm not saying don't ask for help. I'm not saying don't get the support of partners and loved ones. That can be part of self-reliance too, is knowing when we do need to ask for help, right? But you are rising up. You are being given the opportunity to rise up and step fully into your power in the second house arena. Beautiful Capricorn. So let me pull a card for you now and see what the cards have to say. Thank you for taking a moment to like this video, for leaving me a comment if you'd like to, and for subscribing if you haven't yet subscribed. It really helps support the channel and makes a huge difference, and I am very grateful to you for it. So let's pull a card for now, you Capricorn, for your January 2026. So excited. Are you excited for 2026? Leave me a comment. Let me know. I'd love to hear. And your card is Limitless Possibility. I love this card. Stars in the Sky. So a very mundane, if we can call it mundane, reading of this would just be look up to the stars. You use your astrology, maybe get an astrology reading this month. This person is in their white glow of light, right? They're sitting on a bridge. They're between worlds. They're between projects or between jobs maybe, or between identities in a process of reinvention, sitting, meditating, tuning into the galaxies, tuning into the stars, tuning into the truth of who you are. Beautiful Capricorn, you are limitless possibilities. And if you want to claim this in the comments below, let me know. I would love to hear. Sagittarius, Beautiful Sag, I would sing your song, but my voice is a little bit hoarse, so thank you for giving me grace. This month for you is an invitation to up-level your finances, to be fiercely honest with yourself, to clear any blocks to self-worth and deserving so that you can soar into 2026. Sag, as we open January, we have a party of planets in Capricorn in your second house of self-love, deserving, self-worth, material security, your earned income. Basically, the second house is where we are tasked to be self-reliant, to feel tethered to this earthly reality and know that all of our earthly needs will be met. This is the focus for you. And so, when we have so many planets in a house like that, there's a lot of activity going on, and that could mean that you are up-leveling your income, you're asking for a promotion, you're asking for maybe you're getting a new job, maybe you're applying for new jobs, maybe you're doing some real reflection on, do I want to still be here? Do I want to own my own business instead? Do I want to start a side gig? Are there other ways that I can make money? But it's not just money. Like for some of you, it may not be about money. For some of you, it may be about your own heart and your own inner child, and knowing that that you are safe here. And that could be, most of us, a lot of us can relate to not being from here, right? Star seeds and, Pleiadians, Lemurians. I mean, I could go on and on. A lot of us are from other places. And for some of us, this is a fairly new, if not new, lifetime on planet Earth. And so it can be a bit of a learning curve. It's a learning curve for some of us when it comes to the second house. And the second house is also your values. So aligning your life with your values. So that's how the month starts. And then, well, almost right out of the gate, January 3rd, we have a full moon in Cancer, which is on the axis of the second and eighth house, but the moon itself will be in the eighth house. The eighth house means that there's a completion, ending, manifestation moment for you, something coming full circle in the areas of big picture. It's power, control, and emotional attachments, but it can connect to your sexual or emotional intimacy, or it can connect to shared resources, debts, taxes, taboos. It's a house of transformation, death, and rebirth, because these are things that are important to us. We don't want to let go of those things that have given us that security. And the eighth house is where often we are building a nest egg, or we're saving money, or we want to at least save money. We want to get our finances more tightened up. We want to feel abundant. And it can involve, like investing. It can involve working with other institutions, red tape and things that go along with that. Or you could be splitting up resources with somebody. You could be going through a separation or divorce where you are, dividing up assets as well, because assets fall here, real estate falls here. So it's an important full moon because it happens at the very beginning of the month, and it's helping us to prepare for 2026, to get really clear, to have the truth of how we feel, the truth of our emotions. Where do we feel supported? Does this person support me? Or do I feel like, you could feel like someone pulls the rug out from underneath you. I hope that doesn't happen to you this month, but it's one of those full moons where we're going to see, or you've already seen before this full moon, perhaps, because the Sag new moon that was before this full moon sort of prepared the soil for this full moon. And so something could have already happened where you saw the writing on the wall, so to speak, or where you said, I just can't keep going with this relationship, this situation, this investment company, whatever it is. And that's, as hard as that is for us emotionally, that is helping us to make sure we have our own back, right? And to create space for what is in alignment with us now for our soul's evolution, because we have evolved. And, it's the year of the fire horse. It's the Neptune, Saturn, and Aries, fire, fresh starts, new beginnings. We're meant to forge forward now, and not to be dragging something with us that that's just dragging us down in a way, that isn't giving back, or that isn't reciprocating the love that we give. So Sag, on January 18th, and I think I was channeling some of that heaviness when I just shared that with you, because when we have a full moon with so many planets across from the moon itself in Capricorn, Saturn ruled energy, it can feel heavy. Now, January 18th, we have the new moon in Capricorn. So this is in your second house. I just talked all about your second house and money and earning income and self-reliance, and you're aligning your life with your values. It's a new manifestational cycle for you in this area. So a new vision, a project, a side gig, you might be, going after that. It's a reflection time, a new moon. It's a dark moon. We can't see outside, and I will do a separate video for you on it, but we look outside and we can't in the dark sky, and it's dark. And so we can feel a little bit dark new moons, but that takes us into reflection. And that is inviting you to ask yourself what your heart most wants in the second house arena for you. And I think you'll know as you reflect on that if there is more space that you can create for a higher level of deserving and worthiness, if that's appropriate for you. On January 19th, the energy palpably shifts. It really shifts because the sun will enter Aquarius, Venus will already be in Aquarius, Aquarius season begins, and we will have several personal planets move out of the Capricorn arena into your third house of moving and shaking. So there's a lot of activity with a third house, multiple third house transits happening for you from the 19th through the end of the year. A lot of activity, communication, mindset, transactions, buying and selling, short trips, vehicles, meetups, more hanging out with people, generally speaking, relationships with siblings, neighbors, aunts, uncles, and cousins. The third house is also connected to learning, speaking, writing, blogging, teaching, or anything like, if you were to give a workshop or go to a workshop at a yoga studio, or, do a local sort of like a moon circle or something like that. That can all fall in the third house as well. So it's a really good time, that last third of the month, to connect with like-minded people. And by the 23rd, the Sun, Venus, Mars, Mercury will all meet up with Pluto. We'll all begin to meet up with Pluto. We've got a whole span of time, which I talk about in part 1 of this video, the dates, where it's like a power period. It really is, because Pluto is a power player, and Pluto is being pulled forward by a vision and our passion, or being pushed by pain. It can go either way, but conjunctions are generally on the same page and the planets are working together, unless there's something that we have to see where we've been not telling ourselves the truth. We've not seen a truth. We've swept something under the rug. We've been unconscious, no judgment at all. We're human, right? But if that's true, then it could feel a little harder for sure. But it's designed, all of these planets meeting up with Pluto, to up-level us. It's designed for us encourages us to take back our power and to see what's true and to just go forward from there, because it's a new year and we have everything to look forward to, Sag. Also, keep in mind that Aquarius energy, where Pluto and the planets will meet up, that's really harmonious with you. That sextiles your energy. So if you take the initiative toward what you want, that opens you up to an opportunity or a solution. If you're mindful, if you are purging any fears that come up, because they could still come up even with a sextile, and you step fully into your power, then I think you're going to really love this last third of the month, beautiful Sag. So let me shuffle for you now. And as I'm shuffling, I want to say thank you for being part of this community. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel if you haven't yet, and for liking this video, for commenting. I love your comments. I'm so glad that we are doing this 2026 together, and let us now see what the cards have to say for you. Sag. Time to replenish. Do you relate? It says that for some of you, your well is empty, but there's more. Do you see the snake? I see the snake of transformation. I see a skin shedding here. I see going toward the light. I see the spiral, which is the truth of life. As you replenish, you can let go of any skin that no longer fits you. Beautiful Sag. I'm now seeing in my mind's eye a peacock strutting their feathers. I know that's a stretch from the snake to the peacock, but I'm seeing like the snake sheds its skin and then it transforms. I mean, we are shapeshifters. We can shapeshift. It shapeshifts into a peacock and then it's like strutting its feathers. So, beautiful Sag, if anything that I shared resonates for you and you would like to comment, I would love to hear. Happy 2026. Scorpio. Hello, beautiful Scorpio. Scorpio, the month of January 2026 is supporting you to expand your horizons, up-level your thinking, and free yourself to see with brand new eyes. So let me break it down for you. The month begins with a party of planets, a stellium of planets in Capricorn in your third house of moving and shaking, communication, mindset, relationships with siblings, aunts, uncles, and cousins, landlords, mortgage brokers, everything that happens on a local level, all of your interactions, even when you go for coffee dates or when you go to a moon circle. I don't know why that's coming up for me in particular. Some of you might be doing that in your local area, but also, writing and speaking and blogging, learning something new, doing a website, freelance work. So that's where you've got a lot of kind of hunker down, work hard, get stuff done in those areas. It's also short trips and vehicles and devices. So some of you could be getting a new device. Some of you could be starting a new website or editing a website. You get the idea. Or thinking about starting your own business or doing something on a freelance level. Now, the full moon in Cancer, which is January 3rd, representing an ending, completion, manifestation. I do have a separate video for you on this, but full moons are always, tend to be intensely emotional. This one will be more so because it's Cancer energy and that's highly sensitive. And in Cancer, we feel all the feels. But it's happening for you in your 9th house of expansion. So in 9th house energy, we are encouraged to fly above our lives and to see things with new eyes. We are meant to expand. We're meant to see, get new sceneries. That's why we say long distance travel fits here, because when we travel to exciting new places or faraway places, we often have revelations. The 9th house is also higher learning, courses. It's a full moon, so often it's something ending or you're graduating from it. Some of you could be graduating from a program. You could be starting a podcast or ending a broadcast or starting to teach something. You could be publishing a book. You could be presenting. And most of all, you could be not most of all, but you could be breaking free from something, breaking free from an oppressive thought system or religion or, just, again, that desire to be on a quest to seek to expand. The law and justice fall here as well. Now, during this full moon, we're balancing both of these, the 3rd house, everyday environment, moving and shaking, coffee dates, all that stuff with the 9th house themes that I just mentioned to you. And for a lot of people, it's going to be an emotional full moon because some sort of truth, something that you didn't see before becomes exposed or highlighted. And from there, you make a decision with whom do you want to align, basically. In your personal life, it's often home family stuff, but it doesn't have to be. It can be, people that are like siblings to you or that are best friends or coworkers or bosses. Or maybe it's a guru or an author or somebody that you really looked up to and somehow they fell from grace, so to speak. And you take back your power. So that full moon in Cancer is really preparing us for what is to come this year. It's preparing us to, weed our gardens and detoxify anything in our lives that could feel toxic. And we have the cardinal T-square that I talk about in part 1 of this video that helps us to heal a core wound if that's relevant, if we're activated by that in our natal chart. All the details are in part 1. Then on January 18th, Scorpio, and by the way, Scorpio, you get a beautiful trine from that Cancer energy to your energy. So it could be really lovely, abundant feeling, a lovely, abundant feeling full moon for you. On January 18th, we have the new moon in Capricorn. Capricorn energy also makes harmonious energy with you. That sounded funny. Okay, Capricorn energy also vibes with you. It harmonizes with you. It makes a sextile. That's an opportunity or a solution if we take the initiative. It's happening, this new moon, which is a new beginning, a new vision. What do you want now? It's happening in your third house of teaching, learning, blogging, networking, all the things I speak about when I talk about at the beginning of your reading here, all the planets in Capricorn. So now it's saying with all of this sort of purging, releasing, letting go that some of us may have done during that full moon, now what do you really want in these third house matters? And again, this could be anything from I want to heal a relationship with a sibling, aunt, uncle, cousin, or landlord, or somebody that's, I feel has power that, I want us to be on the same page. It could be anything from that to I want to start a business and I want to work on my website, or I want to start some sort of writing project, or I'm going to open a gym, or I'm going to open a financial planning business. All of these things could fall here. And then the energy palpably shifts on the 19th when Aquarius season happens. The sun enters Aquarius. It moves into your fourth house of roots, belonging, home, family, childhood conditioning, ancestral healing. It's a deep, the bottom of your chart. It's a deep place, very, very personal. It's where we want to feel anchored to earthly reality. And Aquarius makes a square to your energy, Scorpio, which gives you motivation and drive to take some sort of action, to move anything that feels out of alignment with you. And this could be some sort of hurt that surfaces for you, or it could be like, I'm claiming my independence. I'm becoming quote unquote sovereign. It's an invitation to claim your power and move more independently, or another way of saying it is just, reclaiming your power. Because by the 23rd, in addition to the sun, Venus, Mars, and Mercury will all be in Aquarius. And after that point, they will take their turns. All the dates are in part 1. They will all meet up with Pluto. So this is going to be, I think, for you, Scorpio, a time of really purging fears if they come up, shedding a skin, rising like the phoenix from the ashes, so that you can be more true to you. In your, I'm getting this image of your core self, your very core self. For some of you, there is an expression, an authentic expression that may not yet have been given a voice, that wants to have a voice. And we often don't know that until we go through it. And I'm not saying this is going to be a painful transit for you, all of these meetups with the personal planets and Pluto, because they are conjunctions, and conjunctions are on the same page, theoretically at least. So it could feel like, no, you are up leveling, you're following a passion, you are fired up. You could feel that just as much as having to go through a release. Either could happen for you. So, Scorpio, let me pull a card for you now. Let's shuffle for you and see what the cards have to say. Thank you. If you would take a moment right now to like this video. If you haven't subscribed, would you like to subscribe? It's free and it really helps my channel. And I love hearing your comments as well. I just shuffled. Let's see what the cards have for you. Beautiful Scorpio, January 2026. Your card is Protecting Your Future, the Dragon's Hoard. This is such an interesting card. It's watery like you, Scorpio. And dragonflies represent transformation. And this is saying, yes, protecting your future is important right now. Being future focused is important. And that's Aquarius energy too. It's future. What does my future hold? What solid, sustainable foundation can I build for myself? And considering that all of that Aquarian energy is in your fourth house of home, family, and roots. You know, for some of you, this has to do with a home. For some of you, this has to do with maybe up-leveling your home, remodeling, building a new home, finding a home that feels like a true place, a true sanctuary. But when I see all of this blue, I think of the throat chakra, the dragonfly transformation. Where you are now, Scorpio, in terms of your mindset or your consciousness, may not be where you are by the end of these transits even. You may say, I have awakened. I've gone through a portal. Doesn't it look like this dragonfly is going through a portal? Portals are new levels of consciousness. And you're meant to do that because it's protective of your future. You are meant to go through this. It feels very space age to me. Go through this portal as you transform, as you step into the next greatest version of who you came here to be. Beautiful Scorpio, if anything I shared resonates for you and you'd like to leave me a comment, I would love to hear. Libra, hello, beautiful Libra. Libra, thank you for giving me grace with my voice. It's a little hoarse, but I feel good. And I want to tell you that this month for you, there will be a lot of cardinal energy just like you. What does that do for you, Libra? It gives you passion. It gives you drive. It gives you a sense of, I have to take action. So I think this will be an action-oriented month for you. Sometimes we take action because we're highly motivated. Sometimes we do it because we feel pressured. But I think this is a month where you're going to feel like, I'm ready to make something happen. The last third of the month, things will lighten up when we get to Aquarius season, because Aquarius makes a trine to your energy and it's all systems go. So let's break it down. As the month begins, we have a stellium of planets, that's 3 or more planets in the same sign, in Capricorn, in your fourth house of home, family, childhood conditioning, roots, and belonging. Some of you could be moving. When we have so much action going on in our fourth house, a lot could be going on. Some of you could be remodeling. Some of you could be, anything that you do in your fourth house of home and family, right? People could be moving in, people could be moving out. Or you could be doing some deep, deep inner work, because the fourth house is the lowest point in our chart. It's the most personal place, and it is connected to the beginnings of, we call it ancestral healing for a reason. It's connected to our ancestry. It's connected to what sort of was handed down to us through the ancestral line. And I know that's deep, but I'm telling you that because sometimes when we have a lot of activity in the fourth house, sometimes we can be having a lot of interaction with neighbors, with family members. We can be just feeling like that our home life is in flux, and our home life brings us security. So you could feel like your security in some way is in flux. On January 3rd, the full moon will be in Cancer, and that's an ending, manifestation, completion, experiencing the fruits of your labor. This full moon is happening in your 10th house of career, legacy, retirement, semi-retirement, life purpose expressed. In contrast to all that fourth house energy in Capricorn, the moon is glowing in your 10th house, the very top of your chart, the most public place. It's the opposite house. And both of these are activated during this full moon. You're going to feel this most likely in your relationships. I think you'll feel it in a home-family relationship, or you'll feel it in a relationship in your public life, whether you have a career or some of you may volunteer if you're retired. Some of you may be traveling the world, whatever it is that you do, however you're spending your time. And really what this full moon is doing is it's helping us prepare for the new year, to shed anything that isn't in alignment with us anymore. It's helping us to prepare for really to let go of, or cut ties to, or temporarily take a break from any energies, people, situations that aren't honoring of us right now, that aren't respecting us. And that's just one reading of this full moon. I do a whole video for you on this full moon that's uploaded to my channel now. But I think this is going to be an important full moon, not just because of, important to January, not just because of the moon itself, but also because by the 12th, we're going to have what we call a cardinal T-square between Jupiter and Chiron and the stellium of planets in Capricorn, which I go into in part 1 of this video. And the upshot of it is we're healing, those of us activated by this, depending on your natal astrology chart, how these planets fall in your chart. We're being activated, some of us, to heal a core wound of abandonment, betrayal, or shame. And we all come in with one. None of us gets to escape this. We all come in with one. And as we heal it, our greatest wound becomes our greatest strength. So, if you are being activated, you're probably one of the ones who are, helping to heal this planet in some way through your energy. You don't have to be a professional in the healing arts to be doing that, of course. Then we have, on January 18th, a new moon in Capricorn in your 4th house. So the new moon is the dark moon. We're reflecting, we're getting a sense of what we want to co-create going forward, a new vision, a new beginning. It's a fresh start, but it's a dark moon, so we're just in the reflection phase. And that takes us back to home, family, childhood conditioning. What makes you feel most at home? What would make you feel more rooted? Do you like where you're living? Do you want to move? All those things coming up. Is there something going on with a family member? Is there a relationship with a family member or something in your ancestral line that you're giving attention to? On January 19th, the energies are really going to shift because that's when we start Aquarius season. And that's when all those planets that were in Capricorn move into Aquarius. And it's just a whole different energy. And for you, they move into your 5th house. And I love the 5th house. It's true love and romance, children, creative expression, freedom and play and comfort and joy and, the things we do just for fun, but also our creative pursuits. And it can sometimes involve something that's going on with a child. But what's going on here is that, and this is a very passionate time of the year because all the personal planets that will be moving into Aquarius are going to move through your 5th house, and they're going to meet up with Pluto, and Pluto is passion, and Pluto is power, powerful, powerless, we can feel. But when Pluto transits our 5th house and these personal planets activate that Pluto, that's when we can really feel it in a love relationship. We can really feel it in dating life if we're dating, and with a life, we can feel it in our love life. We can feel it with a child, in any of those relationships. Or you could passionately fall in love with a project. It's a really good time to do some sort of work on a project, play with a project, right? Really, really good time for that. So I go into it more and how to work with that energy in part 1 of this video. But because it trines you, Libra, you're, the air of Aquarius to your air, it may just feel really lovely to you and super powerful. The winds at your back. Use this harmonious energy to feel good, to move toward success, whatever success is for you. And if any fears come up in the process them, purge them, so that you can step fully into your power, because this can be a beautiful up-leveling transit for you. Okay, Libra. I am now shuffling for you, and I want to invite you to like this video if you would. Thank you so much for taking a moment to subscribe. When you subscribe, you make a huge difference to the growth of my channel and allows me to keep doing these videos for you. And a huge thank you to you for being here. Thank you for sharing this time with me. Let's see what the cards have to say for you. Libra. Libra, your card is the Divine Matrix. So cool. You got the Galactic Mushroom. Check it out. Aquarius energy is galactic energy, right? It's one way that we can describe it, at least. The galaxies, Aquarius, the stars, astrology. And if you look closely at this card, you see this mushroom and this central core. And this is talking about being aware of the divine matrix, tapping into the divine flow of energy that is supporting you. What I'm getting from this card, there's a lot of green, which is heart chakra, maybe heart healing from some of you, but I'm also getting a sense of aligning with the divine matrix, because there are people, situations, resources. I'm hearing like a whole new way of life for some of you, and really feeling supported when you do. So if you want to claim this, that you are tapping in or tapped into the divine matrix, or anything else you want to share, beautiful Libra, let us know in the comments below. Virgo, hello, beautiful Virgo. Virgo, thank you for giving me grace with my voice. It's a little bit hoarse. This month for you, January 2026, my message for you is you are going to get the clarity that you need to shift your life powerfully forward. So let's break it down. The month begins with a party of planets in Capricorn in your 5th house of true love and romance, creativity, children, all the wonderful things in life that we love. You know, it's very Venusian to me, the 5th house. It's joy and your inner child delight and freedom, and just giving yourself permission to have fun for fun's sake, and to be creative, and to just, get out of your mind and into your body and enjoy the 5 senses of this physical life. So on January 3rd, we have a full moon in Cancer. And all full moons, of course, are endings, completions, something manifesting, something coming full circle. This is an interesting full moon. I have a whole separate video for you on it, and I talk more at length about it in part 1 of this video. But what's important for you to know is that it's happening in your 11th house of dreams and fulfillment, friendships, your allies, your supporters, it's online communities. It is the World card in the tarot. The world is your oyster. Some of you could be branding or promoting something. Some of you could be just wanting to come out with something that you want to share with others. And during this full moon, an emotional truth will very likely come to light for a lot of us. Now, keep in mind that this full moon harmonizes, just like all the Capricorn energy at the beginning of the month. This full moon also harmonizes with your energy, Virgo, both do. So this could be a really lovely, abundant, joyful full moon for you. If you haven't been putting time into something that's really important to you, and that could be will be different for all of you. For some of you, that could be a dating relationship. It could be that you want to fall in love. It could be that you want to spend more time with a child or up-level your parenting in some way. It could be that you are putting time and energy into a project or a platform, like a social media platform, or sharing your something that you want to teach or give back to others. But this full moon, for a lot of us, I think is wanting to show us, what are we meant to take into 2026 and what are we meant to leave behind? And Virgo, you're one of the ones who've been most affected by the Saturn and Neptune in Pisces opposing your energy. And so this is a real changeover month. This is a real letting the very last remnants of that go and step into the new. So this full moon could be really refreshing for you. I'm really interested to hear. I think it's going to be an emotional full moon, but it could be a wonderful emotional release. I'm a big proponent of a good cry, but I can Cancer moon, Cancer rising too. So I welcome a good cry. But mid-month, we're going to have what's called a cardinal T-square. And, depending on the planets or points in your natal astrology chart, these readings are based on your rising sign, sun and moon, but you can have planets and points in cardinal energies and feel this more intensely. I have to say that. We are meant to heal a core wound in Aries, which often has to do with perfectionism and wanting to perform well and wanting other people to validate us and all of that. And it's going to be a very healing T-square if we do that purging of, we let the fears come up, we feel our feelings. We have a whole video for you on inner child healing. If you want more tools for doing that Chiron and Aries work, that's what the video is about. January 18th, we have a beautiful new moon in Capricorn, which is a new manifestational cycle, a vision, a new beginning. And for you, it's happening in that fifth house again, the fifth house of love, romance, children, creativity, creative expression, letting yourself run wild with the moon. Now it's a dark moon, so we don't see the moon in the sky, and that takes us inward and we reflect. And so you will be reflecting on those matters. This fifth house matters. Does that resonate for you, Virgo? Let me know if it does. Like, is there something in the fifth house arena of love, children, or creativity, or fun, pleasure, you know, romance? It could just be like being creative. Maybe you have a job that you don't feel like you can be really creative in, and you want to make art or something. You want to sing, you want to dance, you want to express yourself physically more. That falls here as well in the fifth house. And then the energy shifts palpably when we start Aquarius season. The sun enters Aquarius January 19th. This is happening in your sixth house of daily work routines, wellness in all levels. In the big zodiac, traditional zodiac, this is your house, the sixth house, Virgo. And it's lifestyle and pets, and it's taking our focus, your focus, to mind, body, spirit, optimal health, checking in on your work situation, checking in on how you do your daily life. Is it supportive of you? Is there anything that you feel you need to detoxify, or, you know, any behavior or lifestyle choice or anything else that just doesn't support you anymore? Because we're going to have a whole bunch of planets, all those personal planets that were in Capricorn are going to move into Aquarius in your sixth house, and Pluto is going to meet up with all of them. All those personal planets will meet up with Pluto. And that's like, either it's working or it's not. Either it's supportive and healthy or it's not. You will know. And if it's not that for you, then it's something that you are really wanting to create, because Pluto can be a big expander of passion too. So I would say, I encourage you to use this power of Pluto to heal. If there's something to heal, to use this power of Pluto to inspire you and motivate you, and to put your emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual health first. Boundaries are very important. I think for a lot of Virgos, this Aquarius season will be transformational, whether you're being pulled forward by a vision or pushed by pain, which I don't wish for anyone, but if you are, regardless of how it's happening, you are going to come through like the phoenix rising from the ashes for sure. And let's use astrology for our empowerment, not to scare us. Let's, you know, if you don't feel like you have a tool to purge or release fears, then maybe take some time to find a tool, because they're all over, you know, the internet, all over YouTube. There are free videos on how to do EFT tapping, for example, which is one of my favorite modalities. You can journal, you can do automatic writing, you can, you know, you can dance, sweat your prayers. There's so many different ways that we can release fear. We just have to muster the courage to observe the fear and sit with it and touch into it, which, Virgo, I think a lot of you are very good at. I think a lot of you are very, very good at doing that. It's very practical work, right? I have my North Node in Virgo. It's something that I do regularly for myself and with clients. It's very practical work. It makes us the spiritual warriors that we are. So let us now see what the cards have to say for you, Virgo. And I want to take a moment to thank you for being with me. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for liking, subscribing if you haven't already. It makes a huge difference. For commenting. I love hearing from you. And let's see what the cards have to say for your January 2026. Virgo. Spirit of the river, movement toward adventure. Yes, 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 yes. So beautiful. There is a river that wants you to jump in, glide in, float in, let it pull you down. Rivers have their own current. We can't change the current, but we can go with the current of the river. And it's saying, just let the river carry you, because you are in a trajectory, you are moving toward adventure. And we can put adventure in the 5th house as well. The big epic adventures, long distance travel, all of that usually fall in the 9th house, but there's an adventurous spirit to the 5th house as well. So if you are ready to move toward adventure and you want to claim that in the comments below or anything else, beautiful Virgo, let me know. I'd love to hear. Leo, hello, beautiful Leo. Leo, this is a month that could feel quite spiritual to you, and you could experience a truth that comes to light that transforms one or more of your relationships or how you do relationships. So let's break it down. The month begins with a party of planets in Capricorn transiting your 6th house of daily work, wellness on all levels, spiritual, emotional, mental, your lifestyle, your pets, your work environment, co-workers. The 6th house is the house of optimal health, how we manage our energy, how good we feel, how vital we feel in our daily life. And so there's a focus here with so many planets transiting through here, and some of you could be healing something in your physical body or on any level healing something. It will be different for everyone. Of course, this is a general reading. It will be different for you depending on your natal astrology chart and the planets, points, placements within that. But you could feel very active, or you could be very focused on your physical body. Some of you could be doing, working out more, or have setting goals around, what you eat, how you exercise, or this could be very work focused for you. You could be thinking about a new lifestyle. You could be doing something like getting a new pet, or, somehow a pet is in your focus during this month. Now on January 3rd, we have the full moon in Cancer. I have a separate video for you on this full moon. It's an ending, like all full moons, an ending, culmination, manifestation, something coming to fruition in your 12th house. And the 12th house is the house of the other realms. It is not of this earth. It is out-of-body experiences, your dream state at night. The 12th house is your connection to the divine, the ethereal realms. It's a whole different existence, the 12th house. So when we have a full moon in the 12th house, often something is illuminated. There's an awakening. We can have really vivid dreams. We can have, people from our past come into our dreams, past life experiences in our dreams. We can have visitations from angels or from people who've crossed over. It's a really, really interesting place to have a full moon. You could be reprogramming your subconscious mind. You could be aware of thought patterns or self-sabotaging behaviors that you want to shift during this full moon. You could really feel the magic of synchronicities and signs during this full moon. That would be really lovely. It does conjunct the star Sirius, which opens us up to a heart healing. I speak more about that in part 1 of this video. But just know you're going to be balancing during this full moon. And my voice is a little hoarse, so thank you for bearing with me. You're really going to be balancing the 6th house stuff that I already talked about, daily work, health, lifestyle, your everyday routines and schedules. You're going to be balancing that with the other realms. And what is the point of this full moon? Because every full moon has a story. I believe the point of this is to bring us an awareness about what we're bringing into 2026 and what we're shedding. We're meant to release. We're meant to have an emotional clearing, some of us during this full moon. And mid-month, after the full moon, mid-month, there will be a cardinal T-square. It's so technical, the astrology, sometimes the terms, but basically what this comes down to is a sense of pressure to come face to face with an inner child core wound, abandonment, betrayal, or shame. We all come into this lifetime with what we call a core wound. No one escapes it. Our greatest wound can then become our greatest strength, and we can help others heal. It's really beautiful. But in cardinal energy, we're going to feel, I think, this desire to look at, if nothing else, to observe, to give attention to, where we could feel quite vulnerable. The core wound in Aries is often around feeling like you need to perform, you need to be good, you need other people to validate what you're doing, to feel really good about what you're doing. Because in Aries, we take chances and make mistakes, and we want to be successful in Aries energy. And that's where Chiron is right now. So I do have a separate video on Chiron and Aries and inner child healing, reparenting yourself. For anyone interested, that's always linked in my description box below. That's part of the signature of this month for everyone. And then on January 18th, we have a new moon, a reflective moon. The sky is dark. We're seeding intentions for the next manifestational cycle, and that's back in your 6th house again. So you can see, these themes that are resonating throughout the month back in your 6th house of what does my daily life and work look like? Am I happy with what I'm doing for work if I'm working? Am I happy with how I'm spending my days? Do I feel good about the use of my energy, how I'm managing my energy, how I'm taking care of myself? Do I feel good in my vitality and my health? And if not, this is a new moon to envision something else and make changes that will allow you to feel better. Then on January 19th, we have a big shift of energy when all those planets that were in Capricorn move into Aquarius, into your 7th house, Leo. And you know this most likely that because Aquarius energy is across from you on the zodiac wheel, it's what we call an opposition. And that means that you feel it more intensely. We all feel our opposite sign more intensely. I've just had, because I have a stellium of planets in Gemini, and we've had all these planets going through Sagittarius, I've just felt that intensely in December, Sag season. Now we're going to have Aquarius season in Leo. You've got Aquarius across from you, and you're going to feel more intensely, most likely, all of these planets going through your opposite sign, especially because Pluto will be there, and all the personal planets will meet up with Pluto. So, especially if you have any planets or points in your energy, Leo, around 0 to 3 or 4 degrees, you will feel these transits. Now, what does that mean? It means that something within you on a very deep level is probably transforming. There's a part of you, this is Pluto's death and rebirth, transformation, shedding a skin, or being pulled forward by a vision, being pulled by passion, up-leveling, taking all your inner resources and applying them to something that you really want to make happen in your 7th house of relationships. It could have to do with an existing relationship, could have to do with relationship patterns, could have to do with a vision or a dream that you have to, have somebody in your life or some people in your life that are anchors for you. You have their back, they have your back. It could be that. But I think because of this, you are going to have a transformational Aquarius season. Don't be afraid to purge, process, allow to rise up and be conscious of any fears, because that's part of the Pluto, evolutionary soul growth process. It shows us truths and fears and things we didn't see before so that we can realize what's good for me, what's not good for me, where have I been settling, and so forth. So I hope that's clear, beautiful Leo. And now I want to pull a card for you, and we'll see what the cards have to say. You may not be the same person by the end of this month in a really good way. You may feel like I have risen, I have seen the light, I've seen the truth, and I am taking back the reins of my life. I'm saying yes to this, I'm saying no to that. I'm stepping back into my power. It could be really beautiful. So as I'm shuffling, I want to say thank you for being here, for watching this video, for liking, for commenting. If you haven't subscribed yet, would you please take a moment to subscribe? It really helps me. And let's see what the cards have to say for you, beautiful Leo. Leo, your card is meditation and stillness, deep quiet. Wow. I'm not surprised because we've got the full moon in Cancer in your 12th house. And the 12th house is a call to meditation and stillness. The 12th house is a time to go within. And that's where the full moon is for you. That's where the Cancer energy is saying, get very clear on your needs. When we're in stillness, when we're in meditation, we can release emotionally what needs to release. And we can get connected to the soft animal of our body, as Mary Oliver calls it. I love the way she says in her poem, Wild Geese, you do not have to walk, and I'm paraphrasing, you do not have to walk through the desert on your knees for 100 miles repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. So if you want to claim your deep quiet and your connection to the soft animal of your body, I love that phrase, beautiful Leo, or anything else that resonates for you, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear. Cancer. Hello, beautiful Cancer. Cancer, thank you for bearing with me as my voice is a little bit hoarse, but I do feel good. And this month for you is a call to focus on your needs, to take back the reins of your life. You may have to surrender to something that is out of your control. That's some of you, not all of you. But when you do, I believe you will find deep peace and calm and gratitude for it. So let's break it down. The month begins with a whole stellium of planets in your, and that's a party of planets in Capricorn, in your transiting your 7th house of relationships, committed relationships, the people that have your back, whose back you have, not just romantic partners. It can be business relationships, and it can be, relationships with people that are near and dear to us, or coworkers, or bosses, or adult children. It's really about, do you have a spoken or unspoken agreement to support one another? And during the full moon in your sign, Cancer, there may be a shift there, and there may be a revelation about that. And I say this because, full moons, they're always across the axis of two houses, right? And for you, the full moon is Cancers, and you, of course, your first house of identity, and house of you. This is your health. This is your vitality. You could be healing something. You could be shifting a role. You could be changing the way you do your work. You could be changing something in a relationship, in your home and family. In your public life, something could be shifting. Your expression could be shifting. Any of these things could be happening for you. Leave me a comment if you want to share. I'd love to hear it. And I am Cancer rising, Cancer moon, so I'm here right with you with all of this. That's, the moon will be there for the full moon, and then the sun and all these planets in Capricorn during this full moon will be in your 7th house of partnerships. So you could be feeling like you have responsibilities to people, you have commitments, and you could be feeling like there's a push-pull there, or there's something that has to adjust there. Really, I believe this full moon wants us to see an emotional truth, and it could surface in a relationship with a family member, something about your home, something about your work. Again, it's a first house full moon, and that affects every angle of our chart, every major area of our life. It doesn't mean they're all going to be shifting and changing or having something come to light, but one of them could be. An emotional truth may be revealed for you. And really, I think this full moon happening on January 3rd, right at the beginning of the month, is saying, let's see what's working for us, what we want to bring into 2026 and what we don't. Let's look at the truth. There really is a truth-telling full moon. It's conjunct the star Sirius. I talk about that in part 1 of this video. There's an excitement, a heart-opening, up-leveling kind of potential spiritual awakening there, and I love that. Mid-month, we're going to have a cardinal T-square. I talk about it in part 1, so I'm not going to go over it again, but I will say that this has to do with healing a core wound of abandonment, betrayal, or shame, which we all bring into this lifetime. Our greatest wound becomes our greatest strength, and Cancers will feel this. All the cardinal signs will feel that more intensely, especially if you have planets or points around in the 20, we'll say 19 to maybe 25 degrees, you'll feel this T-square more intensely. And what is it saying? Look at take that inner child into your arms and care for him or her. And, I have a whole video on inner child healing, which is always linked in the description box below. But I really encourage that dialogue with your inner child to let them know that they are safe, that you have their back, that you will never ever leave them, and that you are, Cancer is a very mothering energy, right? It's very parenting, I should say. It's not a gender thing. It's a very nurturing thing. It is the archetypal mother. The moon is the mother. You are ruled by the moon, Cancer. But this is actually a really beautiful opportunity, I think, to heal something that many Cancers may have felt. With Chiron and Aries, a lot more to say about this as I do in part 1. January 18th, the new moon in Capricorn begins a new cycle for you. The 7th house of partnerships is where you'll be feeling this. It's a new reflective moon. The sky is dark. We're drawn inward, and we are invited to set intentions for what our heart most wants. And for you, it's in your 7th house of partnerships. So partnerships can be really up for you this month. Again, business, romantic, people that are important to you, they all fall here. So it's a lovely new moon, and there's a letting go aspect to it. There is a sort of clearing out the past aspect, even though it's a new moon, but also a new visioning, new beginning. What does your heart most want in relationship? And then the energy will shift palpably. January 19th, the sun will enter Aquarius. All of those personal planets that were in Capricorn will shift into your Aquarian house, which is the 8th house of emotional attachments, power, control, where we feel powerful or powerless, intimacy, sexual and emotional, where we take a relationship from maybe we're committed, but we don't live together yet. Or maybe we're buying a house together, or, saving for something together. Those are some examples, but it's also taxes and loans. You could be doing your taxes around this time. Nest eggs, building a nest egg, saving money, retirement funds, some sort of long-term financial goal. That all fits in the 8th house. And it's why we call it death and rebirth and transformation here, because these are things that we can cling to, right? It's going to be a powerful Aquarius season, because by the 23rd, in addition to the sun, Venus, Mars, Mercury will all be in Aquarius. They will all meet up with Pluto. Again, watch part 1 for the lowdown on that. Big picture, take back your power, release any attachment to outcomes. What is meant to be with you will be with you. I have, most of us Cancers learn this. No settling. Do you want the crumbs or the full cookie? Have you been walking on eggshells with someone? Have you been hoping somebody would come around for you and reciprocate what you've given? A lot of Cancers deal with this kind of thing until we learn that what we give is precious and we deserve to receive it back. So that could be an experience you have, but again, it's the 8th house, so that can either be a relationship in which you're sharing time, money, or resources, or it could have to do with your finances, long-term finances, especially like savings. And so, I think your focus is really going to be there for the last third of the month. We could have some shocks. I hope we don't, because conjunctions are on the same page. Theoretically, they're working together, but sometimes, especially when it comes to the financial markets, they could be quite volatile. There are some things out of our control, and that's Pluto. Like, we have to be willing to let go of what's out of our control, and the serenity prayer, right? It's about releasing what we can't control and the courage to take steps on the things that we do have power over, and the wisdom to know the difference. So my advice for you is take the reins of your life. You are the Chariot card in the tarot. Chariot is connected to the divine, and with intention, it pulls itself forward. And forge forward. Step fully into your power, Cancer. A lot of us, especially Cancer risings, we've been focusing on this area, especially with like long-term money investments, finances, and so forth for a while. So it may not be new to you. But let us pull a card for you now and see what the cards have to say. And Cancer, I want to thank you for being with me. If you would take a moment to please like this video if you got some value from it, and comment if you like, subscribe if you haven't yet subscribed. It really helps me. Thank you so much. Okay, Cancer. Cancer, your card is Ah, the beloved, radical acceptance. I mean, if that's not Pluto, what is, right? Radical acceptance. Do you have a beloved in your life? Is the beloved the divine for you? Are you seeking a beloved soulmate? So many ways that we could describe and translate beloved, right? What matters is, what does that mean to you? But all the fire in this card signaling transformation, and it's saying we have to accept what we can't control. It's a number 2 to the relationship number, balance, harmony. When we radically accept that which we cannot control, we can find deep peace. If you want to claim this in the comments below, beautiful Cancer, let me know. I would love to hear. Gemini. Hello, beautiful Gemini. Gemini. The first third of this month of January 2026, I believe you will be focused on your material security, your income, your investments, your long-term savings, some of you building a nest egg or a financial legacy. And that can be kind of heavy. I want to just say that out of the gate, but the focus for you will lighten up when we get into Aquarius season beginning on the 19th. And I think then you're going to feel more expansion, adventure, and freedom. So let's break it down and talk about it. I mean, this month is a month for you to expand. So I want you to keep that in mind as we go through these transits. As the month begins, there will be a stellium, aka a party of planets in Capricorn, in your 8th house of all those things I just mentioned: power, control, death and rebirth, transformation, emotional attachment, sexual intimacy. You know, the things that we don't want to detach from, the things that make us feel secure often in life, or passionate, or both. Taxes and loans, money from others, client relationships. They can be gifts, they can be windfalls out of the blue sometimes, like inheritances. Also, if you're investing money and you're focused on that, or you are building some sort of savings, or you are, focusing on like, am I getting a return on my investment? Do I have some? If you have any kind of portfolio or any kind of savings plan, you might be looking at that during this month. Any kind of long-term financial goal, you could be focused on that as the month begins. Then we have the full moon in Cancer, which, like all full moons, is an ending, completion, manifestation, full circle moment, seeing the fruits of your labor. Often it's something closing out. And that's full moon is in your 2nd house. So what does that mean for you, Gemini? It means that something could be shifting or changing in your realms of earned income. Something can be manifesting. You could get a new project, but also, you could be losing attraction to your work. You could be saying, I don't want to, this is not enough money, I need to make more money. Or you could be saying, I want to make money in different ways. You could say that what I'm doing and how I'm earning a living, so to speak, is not aligned with my values anymore. You could feel like your values have really shifted. We have had Jupiter going in Gemini. Of course, it's been in Cancer for a little while now, but it did go through your 12th house. And when that happened, you could have had quite a shift. And then we have Uranus now temporarily back into Taurus, but it will come back in. It was in your sign, Gemini, from July to November of 2025, and it will be back in April. And that's a hugely shifting transit. If you have planets or points in the early degrees of your sign, you could have just gone through a really big change. And that would signal for a lot of you a change in values, or a change in how you make money or how you support yourself. The 2nd house is not just earned income, it's material security and self-reliance and our sense of deserving and self-worth and our possessions. And the question of, is my life now aligned with my values? So if something's shifting for you there, or if you've seen the truth, because a Cancer full moon can show you the truth that is related to your own emotional security. For example, if you are making money doing something that you don't feel is in integrity with you anymore, or, there's somebody in your life that, it could be any area of your life, but especially having to do with your material security and possibly income. You could feel like a coworker, or a boss, or something like that. You could feel that something's out of alignment. There's something underneath the surface that doesn't feel reciprocal. And that could cause you to make a change. And also you're balancing during this full moon, your second house with your eighth house. And I've already talked about all the 8 planets in the eighth house. They're very emotional, can be very emotional for us humans, transits in these houses. So I just want to say that, especially because it's going to be a very emotional full moon for a lot of us. And we want to just really take care of ourselves. That sweet, soft part of us that is highly sensitive. We really want to give that part of us extra TLC during this full moon. On January 18th, we're going to have a new moon in Capricorn in your 8th house, a new manifestational cycle, the beginning of a fresh start, a new vision focused on 8th house matters. So, just briefly, cut ties to anything that isn't in alignment with your integrity. Focus on long-term financial well-being, if that's up for you, or on your emotional and sexual intimacy, if that's important to you. Really big picture, this is about taking back your power, feeling in your power, and setting boundaries, taking stock of anything that feels out of alignment for you, making sure that you feel like you are living in alignment with your truth. And then on January 19th, this is when the sun will shift into Aquarius. The personal planets will follow suit, leaving Capricorn, entering Aquarius. Aquarius energy trines your energy, Gemini. It's in beautiful flow with you. It's happening this Aquarius season, as all Aquarius seasons do for you, happening in your 9th house of expansion. Higher learning, long distance travel. It's where we seek, we quest, we want to learn more, we want to share more. And this is why podcasting and broadcasting and teaching and publishing fall in the 9th house, because we're sharing our enthusiasm or our truth, or we're seeking that. We're doing either of those during an Aquarius season. Often we're learning astrology, we're getting an astrology reading. Justice and the law fall here too. So for some of you, that could involve, government work as well. Perhaps you are trying to get a visa, you're jumping through hoops, you're doing whatever the rules are saying you have to do to get the outcome that you want. That could be part of this too. But it's going to be passionate truth-telling energy, especially because all the personal planets, as I speak about in part 1 of this video, they will all come together with Pluto, one right after the other. And that means something's really being activated on a very deep transformational level for all of us. Even though it's a trine, be aware of what is right for you and what isn't. Be aware of perhaps opportunities or invitations or things that are just flowing your way. That happens with trines. It's the wind at our back. Things just show up. But is it what you really want, Gemini? Because I've experienced, and you may have already experienced Pluto trines, with Pluto being in the first degrees in Aquarius. You may have already gotten some invitations that were hopefully in alignment with your energy, and you said yes, and it was wonderful. Or you had to say no because you realized, even though it was a trine, you still would have been settling, or it was not in alignment with what your heart truly wants. That could be it too. But there's an ease of breaking through. There is a clear revelation or understanding for you. And sometimes, we recognize patterns. This could have to do with a spiritual belief system too, something oppressive, something I used to believe this, but now I believe this. You are very well supported to follow your heart, beautiful Gemini. So let us see now what the cards have to say for you. Thank you for taking a moment to like this video. I am so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're part of this community. I have my son in Gemini, by the way. I don't know if I said that. I am happy that we are part of the same Gemini family. And if you haven't yet subscribed, if you would please take a moment to subscribe to the channel. It is free and it really helps me. And I love your comments too. So let's see what the cards have to say for you, beautiful Gem. For your January 2026, what a year this is going to be. Gemini. Oh my gosh, yes, yes, yes. It's the year of the horse, and look what you got. The horseman. Horseman, horsewoman. I love it so much. The herald of change. Yes. How cool is this? Look at all the light surrounding. Look at the horse up on its hind legs. This person feeling courageous and excited, and I feel like there's lightning. I don't know if there is actual lightning in this card, but I'm feeling lightning energy. Herald of Change is a number 30, which is 3 amplified by 0 and 3 is creativity. It's writing. You are the 3rd house in the traditional zodiac, Gemini. So Spirit is amplifying your creativity, your ability to have a positive mindset, to co-create with the divine, to share, write, speak, communicate what is most important to your heart. Change is coming, beautiful Gemini. If you want to claim the excitement of this, let us know in the comments below. I'd love to hear. Taurus. Hello, beautiful Taurus. Taurus. The month of January 2026 is going to be expansive for you. It's a month of growth and learning, and it's all going to culminate in Pluto transits happening in your 10th house of career, life purpose expressed, retirement or semi-retirement, the most public area of your chart. So let's break this down. I think this could be a month for you of real sense of what is right for you, what it isn't, and then breaking free and moving forward for what is truly lighting up your heart. So as the month begins, we've got a bunch of planets transiting in Capricorn in your 9th house of expansion. The 9th house is a call to adventure. It is a call, it's a quest and seeking for a higher truth often. It's when we are doing metaphysical studies sometimes. It is when we can be broadcasting or podcasting or sharing our enthusiasm or a truth or a philosophy. We can be breaking free from something that's oppressive, including a relationship or a culture or a religion. There are so many things that fall in the 9th house. And, part of this can be regulations or restrictions. They can be government institutions. It can be justice and the law. So that could be part of your experience too. But the big picture is you are meant to transcend and rise above and see with new eyes, with many planets going through your 9th house. And on a very practical level, for some of you, this is about something that you're learning or studying or traveling in different places or, just opening up to new scenery, even if it's armchair travel and you're watching documentaries, for example. But I think some of you are probably focused because it's Capricorn and that's Saturn and that's work. You're probably focused on something that for you, if not spiritual, it's meant to expand you. Now, we have a full moon in Cancer on January 3rd, and all full moons mark an ending, culmination, manifestation, or completion. And they tend to bring something to light. They tend to show us a truth. They can be the fruits of your labor being shown to you, being experienced, which is wonderful. It's happening, this full moon, in your 3rd house. And the 3rd house is busy usually. If 3rd house lunation, there's moving and shaking, and there's a lot of interaction in our environment, or we're like buying a new car, or we're, buying a new computer or a device. We are working on a relationship with a sibling, landlord, aunt, uncle, or cousin, or we're having a lot of conversations with one or more people that we consider to be extended family or that live in our local environment. And also, the 3rd house is connected with all transactions, buying and selling, short trips. It's our mindset and our communication. It's our websites. It's freelance work, writing, learning, sometimes teaching, often blogging. So a lot of things fall in this house. But the 3rd house says, okay, what's the nitty gritty work that we have to get down to here that is really up for us right now? And your 3rd house for you, Taurus, is very personal because it's Cancer energy. It's highly sensitive. So you're balancing kind of what's going on in your very local, everyday world, the errands you have to do. And, if you work out at a gym or you go to, Zumba classes or whatever you do, it can involve conversations with those people, or maybe coffee dates. Maybe you are meeting up with people for the first time. You're balancing that with the bigger energies of expansion and travel, long distance, new awarenesses that I talked about at the beginning. What is this full moon, which I have a separate video for you on that you can watch? What is it helping us with? It's helping us to realize what we want to bring into 2026 and what we want to release. And that can involve relationships or mindsets or inner narratives, especially happening on this 3rd and 9th house axis. Then we have a new moon in Capricorn, and that is going to be in the 9th house. Already we've been through all those themes, but it's a new moon, so it's a dark moon. We reflect, we set intentions. It's a new manifestational cycle that is beginning. What do you want in this area of your life? How would you like to expand? What would you like to learn? What would you like to share? The answers to those questions will give you some clues, perhaps, about what you want to intend for this new moon. And I think I said that's on the 18th. And then on the 19th, the energy really shifts because all the planets that were in Capricorn will move into Aquarius one by one, and they will come together with Pluto. And Pluto, as you know, probably Taurus, is a heavy hitter, meaning that it transforms us. And this is all happening in your 10th house of career. So if you don't have a career, it's your life purpose expressed. It is a legacy for some of you. It is semi-retirement or retirement. It is how you want to spend your time, or as Mary Oliver so beautifully says it, how would you like to spend your one wild and precious life? Now, keep in mind that Taurus, Aquarius energy, makes a square to your energy, and that means that you're motivated. You're motivated to take action. You're motivated to take a step in the direction of what will make you feel fulfilled and happy in career. And by the 23rd of the month, all of these personal planets will have moved into Aquarius, and they're going to take their turns meeting up with Pluto. So I think this is something you're going to be fired up about. You know, we often get scared when we hear about a Pluto transit. These are conjunctions. They can be passion as much as they can be pain. It doesn't have to be something dark and foreboding. It can be fears that come up because Pluto tends to bring up fears. But in my own experience, I've noticed that a lot of times those fears, they come from past life experiences. They're not necessarily something that's going to play out in this lifetime, but we want to process the fears so we don't have to keep feeling them, and we won't want to not manifest them again, right? So we want to, use some sort of tool to process the energy so that we don't have to experience that deep, dark fear, because it can be quite heavy, and it can, some people can do things that are shocking to us. I hope that doesn't happen for you. I mean, conjunctions, like I said, conjunctions typically, they are considered hard transits, but when we work with them, we can often finesse them and take the best of those energies and use them to up-level our lives, use them to take back our power. It can be quite transformational in a very positive way, as long as we are fiercely honest with ourselves and we're not settling and we're not glossing over and sweeping things under the rug when we have to look at the truth. Or, you could just be really, really up-leveling in your power, in your knowing of what's right for you, and taking positive steps toward what you want in this 10th house arena, your public life. And for some of you, I don't know why this just came to me. Leave me a comment if you relate to it. I just got this image of someone in a forest. So for some of you, if you're retired or you don't have obligations to others anymore on a work or professional level, then maybe you're like, my public life is me in the trees. That's what I got the image of. It was like somebody just meditating in a forest. Or maybe that's exactly what you need right now. That could be it too. So let's pull a card for you now, Taurus. And thank you so much for taking a moment to like this video, to comment. And if you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe. It really helps me. Taurus. Let's see what the cards have for you. Beautiful Taurus, your card is, yes, the Garden of Venus, rest and renewal. Well, no wonder I got the image of the person meditating in the forest. Check it out. Taurus, you are ruled by Venus. This is a portal card to me. There's an opening here for you. Rest and renewal. This is a beautiful invitation to just replenish your energy. If you want to claim this Garden of Venus, and you might want to go into your own sacred secret garden. I have a meditation on this in my book, The Magic of Saying Yes. You might want to go into your own imaginary Garden of Venus and meet up with your inner child. and connect with him or her and give them the love, the care, the devotion, the attention that would bring that much more aliveness and energy, confidence, and sweetness to your life, beautiful Taurus. Aries. Hello, beautiful Aries. Aries. I believe the beginning of January, you will be fired up to take action, and the last third of the month, ready to take on the world. So let's break it down. As the month begins, there is a stellium, aka party of planets in Capricorn in your 10th house of career, legacy, life purpose expressed, retirement or semi-retirement, how you want to spend your time, the most public area of your chart. You could really be working hard, Aries, or if you're not working hard, you are focused on getting ahead in some way, or, whatever success means to you. It means different things to all of us, but it is the most public area of your chart. Some of you could be meeting deadlines or, wanting to up-level your career in some way. It's a lot of energy in your 10th house as the month begins. And then on January 3rd, we have a full moon in Cancer, an ending, completion, manifestation moment, culminating, the fruits of your labor, showing up for you. And this is in your 4th house of family and home and inner child conditioning, ancestral healing. It's the mother line, the 4th house. So the Cancer full moon, while the moon is in your 4th house, it is opposing all those planets in Capricorn, and you could feel a push-pull between work and personal home life responsibilities or commitments. An emotional truth may be revealed for you within a relationship. You may see something that was hard to see, but you had to see it so that you could feel that your relationships are more reciprocal. Some of you may be cutting ties. Some of you may be taking a break from a relationship. Some of you may be having a heart-to-heart talk with someone that or setting boundaries with somebody, because also we have what we call a cardinal T-square, which is not an easy transit at all mid-month, and I go into it in part 1 of this video, but it involves Chiron and Aries, which is, of course, Chiron has been in your sign for quite some time, and it represents a core wound of abandonment, betrayal, or shame. As we heal that core wound, we become that much stronger. We're able to help others heal in just through our energy, if not through some sort of, healing profession. And so Aries, if you have planets or points around the degrees of where this T-square is happening, then you could feel in your natal astrology chart, then you could feel a real healing here during this time. You could really feel like you're breaking through, an invisible wall or an actual wall, glass ceiling, I'm hearing. You could really feel like you're breaking through something that makes you feel that much more empowered and ready to take on your 2026. Because after all, Aries, this is an important year for most Aries. We're going to have Neptune and Saturn move back into your sign to stay. Of course, Saturn is a much shorter transit, but Neptune will be here until 2039. And it's a big deal for Aries people to have Neptune in their sign. Dreams and visions and your connection to the divine and what your heart most wants, they're all involved with this transit. And those of you who have planets or points in the very early degrees of Aries, you're going to feel that more intensely. So it's a big shift. And yes, this has already started, but now it's happening for good. I'm going to do a separate video on this transit because Neptune and Saturn will come together in February, and that's a very big deal for all of us globally. But this is an important month because it's a cardinal month, most of the month until the sun moves into Aquarius. It's cardinal, and you're cardinal, Aries. So again, that means taking action, taking steps. If there is pressure, if there's tension, relieving it by getting something done, or, setting a boundary, cutting a tie. January 18th, the new moon in Capricorn, more cardinal energy in your 10th house of career. Life purpose expressed, legacy, retirement, semi-retirement, how you want to spend your time. What does your heart want in this 10th house arena, your most public life? What has meaning and fulfillment to you? It does square your energy. So it's saying whatever you're reflecting on, whatever you're intending, make sure it aligns with what your heart most wants. And I don't know why I feel drawn to say this, but I'll say it because I do say what comes through. And that is that some of you may want to work with a coach or get an astrology reading if you feel like the work that you do isn't aligned, but you don't quite know how to begin to take steps to doing something different. the golden handcuffs, so to speak, that some of us experience, right? When you've been doing something for a very long time, or you feel dependent on an income and you don't feel like you can do what your heart wants, and yet it can be really squelching your spirit. So I felt called to say that. So some of you, leave me a comment if that resonates for you. On January 19th, the energy will really shift for you because, first of all, the sun will leave Capricorn and go into Aquarius. So Aquarius season begins. Then we're going to have all the personal planets that were in Capricorn move into Aquarius as well. And all this will be happening in your 11th house. The 11th house is the world card in the tarot. The world is your oyster. My voice is a little hoarse. Thank you for bearing with me. This is branding and promotion, friends, allies, online communities, social media platforms, communities, long-term financial gains. It is often where we have something that we want to share with others. And so we do that through an online platform, or we do that through, working with a dream team. We do that through blogging. There's so many ways we can do that. But the 11th house is really a house of adventure in a lot of ways. It's saying, again, the world is your oyster. What does your heart most want? And it's going to be an important time for Aquarius season this year because all these personal planets will meet up with Pluto, and that's somewhat unusual. And so it's like a real transformational new beginning, fresh start. And Pluto detoxifies. It purges whatever is no longer in alignment with us anymore, or it up-levels us. If we've already done that purging, if we've already felt through our fears and processed them, then it says, okay, you're ready. You're ready to now take on something that you weren't ready to take on before. So that could be part of your experience as well, especially because you get a sextile, which is harmonious flowing energy from Aquarius energy to your energy, Aries. So be mindful of any fears that do come up because, our human self doesn't want change. Our human self doesn't want us to up level. And I don't mean the conscious human self. I mean the unconscious, the subconscious part of us that is afraid of change. But your soul is driving you forward, pulling you forward. So let us see now, Aries, what the cards have to say for you. And while I'm shuffling, I want to thank you for being part of this community, for joining me for this video, for liking the video. If you'll take a moment to do that, leave me a comment if you'd like to, and for subscribing, because when you subscribe, your subscribes really help me and let me do these videos for you. Now let me see, Aries, what the cards have to say for you. Beautiful Aries. For your January 2026. Ancestral wisdom, the lay of the land. Very interesting considering that the full moon in Cancer is in your 4th house of ancestral wisdom, right? Check it out. What do you see in this card? Aries, this card reminds me so much of you, all the red. I always think of your energy being a fire sign and being connected to our most instinctual nature. I always think of it as red and root chakra energy. And here we have this fiery full moon. Your full moon is happening in your 4th house of the ancestral line. And this card is saying there is a wisdom that your ancestors have to share with you. You could get that in a guided meditation. You can download one from my website for free. You can get them for free on my YouTube channel. I've got a few that I've created for you guys. But I see you having reached the top of the mountain, you having reached a goal. This person is in this, kind of quintessential I made it posture, right? And I feel like something is burning away that isn't you anymore. And I feel is this feeling of, wow, like the problems that I feel I have are so much smaller than the reality of me being a spiritual being having a human adventure. The size of the moon, the size of the mountain, the size of these pools of water. It feels transcendent to me. It feels even like perhaps a spiritual awakening. Maybe you get that ancestral wisdom channeled to you through a dream, through automatic writing. I teach you how to do that in my book, The Magic of Saying Yes, linked in the description box below. But maybe you receive that wisdom through something that feels transcendent. It could be a hike, it could be time in nature. What a gorgeous card, and how perfect for you, Aries. I love that this came up for you. Leave me a comment if you're loving it too. Happy 2026. Pisces. Hello, beautiful Pisces. Pisces, my voice is a little hoarse. Thank you for bearing with me. I do feel good though, and I'm so excited for 2026. Pisces, are you excited? We are going to be done with Saturn and Neptune in your sign by the end of this month. Well, not Saturn, but Saturn by mid-February, and Neptune will be out of your sign by January 26th. So onward and upward, it is a new beginning for you, very much so. And as the month begins, we have a party of planets in Capricorn transiting your 11th house of the world is your oyster. Fulfillment, your current dream, branding or promoting, online groups and meetups online, generally speaking, but it's also about friendships, supporters, and social media platforms. And the 11th house is really meant to show us opportunities or show us what our heart wants. You know, it's a house where we can also have long-term financial gains. We can have money come in, or we can see the results of our labor from investing, from if you have done anything on social media, if you've had a YouTube channel or you've put content out, you can also see that blooming during this time. And it really beautifully harmonizes with your energy, Pisces. You get a sextile, that's opportunities and solutions when you take the initiative. On January 3rd, we have the full moon in Cancer, which trines your energy, super harmonious. Endings, manifestations, completions, full circle moments, characterize full moons. It's happening in the lovely 5th house of love, romance, children, creative expression, inner child delight, fun, pleasure, comforts. Now, it's a full moon, so it's an ending for some of you in any of these areas, or it is a revelation, something you didn't see before. You know, a relationship could be ending. A child could be moving out of the house. You could be trading in one creative project for another. You could have been working on a book and then realize, I don't really want to publish this book after all. You could be letting go and completing something, or putting something out. Now, this full moon is because it's straddling the 5th and 11th houses, the sun in one house and then the moon in the other. You could be feeling a push-pull between these 11th and 5th house areas that I just spoke about. There's a balancing act here. But I think on a deeper level, what's happening with this full moon, Pisces, is that we're experiencing some sort of truth in relationship. And this means that you might say, where I thought I was aligned with this person, I'm not anymore. Consciousness shifts, right? Some of us shift into a new consciousness before the other person does. And I do think I kind of see this image of this train, these two trains going in different directions. It doesn't mean we won't meet back up with that person. It doesn't mean that we have to cut them out of our life necessarily. But maybe we've been, putting a lot of energy in a relationship when we realize that it's misplaced, or that we're no longer on the same page. That's just one way that this could manifest. It could also just be a truth about, this is what I want to do and this is what I don't want to do. It's preparing us for 2026. It's saying, what do you want to bring into 2026 and carry with you? What's supportive of you for 2026 and what isn't? Is it time to, really understand that and take action accordingly? But again, because it's a trine to your energy, it could be beautiful flow. It makes a conjunction to the star Sirius. I talk about this in part 1 of this video. It can be very elevating and awakening and lovely. And then we have a new moon in Capricorn, also harmonizing with your energy, the opportunities, the solutions coming to you when you take the initiative in your 11th house. So we already went through the 11th house. I won't go over that again, But this is a time to set intentions. I'm going to adjust for a moment here. You guys are the last ones. I do stand up and take breaks between these. These videos take me hours to do. So yeah, I'm feeling like I gotta move. Thank you for bearing with me again. The new moon in Capricorn in your 11th house is about seeding intentions for what you want, what will bring you fulfillment, joy, and happiness, really. And, you know, it's about support. We want to feel supported in the 11th house. We want to feel like our friends are the people that we team up with or collaborate with. It's a real collaboration house. It doesn't mean you have to be doing that, but we want to feel if we are doing that, that those people really have our back and that there's trust there. And, you know, sometimes with an 11th house new moon, we start to reflect on what else is there for me. What is that something more that may have eluded me? Is there someplace I want to travel that I haven't traveled before? Is there some sort of project that will connect me with more people? I'm getting this image now of like the matrix, even like how we're all connected energetically. So you may want to reach out to people during this new moon, or, you know, when we get to the first quarter moon. The new moon is usually a time of darkness and reflection and inwardness, but by the time we get to the first quarter moon, we're ready to take action. Now, on January 19th, the sun will enter Aquarius, and this is a big shift because not only the sun is in Aquarius, Venus is in Aquarius when the sun enters, and then we'll have all the other personal planets move into Aquarius, and this is all happening in your 12th house of the inner realms, the ethereal realms, not of this world. And I, as somebody with a stellium in my own natal chart in the 12th house, I have learned that we really have to honor 12th house energies. They are not of this world. It is where you are very psychic and you are connected to 12th house energies, Pisces, because that's in the traditional zodiac. The 12th house is your house. But we really want to honor the fact that there's a whole other existence, right? Plane of reality in 12th house energy, your inner mystic, the ethereal realms, your subconscious mind, reprogramming that if necessary, out of body experiences, your dream state. So this will be a powerful transit for you. And because all the personal planets will meet up with Pluto, they'll have a conjunction with Pluto, you could have memories of past lifetimes surface. You could have people coming into your dreams from other lifetimes or from this lifetime, relationships that are over. You could, it could be a bit of a wild ride or an intensity to it, but I encourage you to observe what's coming up, to feel it, but don't attach to it, because it's meant to be transformational. And it could be quite lovely. You know, sometimes we have really beautiful, lovely dreams during 12th house transits, but we're meant to process the dark stuff, the fears that could arise, that may not arise. We don't know. It's going to be different for all of you. The whole point of these Pluto transits is for you to up level. So you could feel like I'm up leveling in my spiritual psychic ability. You could have Pluto can make us quite ambitious. You could feel like I'm really wanting to start a business that's spiritually based, or I want to be a psychic medium, or I want to channel whatever, you fill in the blank. You could really feel like something is blooming inside of you in terms of your clairs, clairsentience, clairaudience, claircognizance, all of those, your spiritual powers, your superpowers. So it could be really beautiful. So beautiful, Pisces. Did I use the word beautiful enough times? It's good to laugh at yourself. Okay, so I am going to pull a card for you now. And while I'm shuffling, I want to say thank you. Thank you for being here, for watching this video, liking this video if you got something from it. And if you would please subscribe if you haven't yet subscribed, it really does help me. And now I am going to pull your card, Pisces. Let's see what the cards have to say for you. For your January 2026, your card is, yes, the Joyful Muse, inspiration. Wow, this is so cool. You are meant to be inspired this month. And it doesn't surprise me because we've got that full moon on the 5th and 10th house axis for you. The full moon's happening in your 5th house. I always connect this card to the 5th house. It's inspiration, it's fun, it's pleasure, it's a cat playing a fiddle. I mean, it's creativity. The whole look at the violin or fiddle. It's like full of creative, splashy colors, right? There is inspiration. The joyful muse wants to enter your life or be reactivated in you, beautiful Pisces. You are very artistic. This is saying, are you letting yourself go a little crazy? Look at the cat's eyes. Are you letting yourself be silly sometimes? Are you giving yourself permission to be playful? 33, double threes, creativity, writing, expression. Reducing to a 6, which is love, balance, pleasure. Let it in, beautiful Pisces. The joyful muse wants to talk with you. If anything I shared resonates and you want to share with me, I'd love to hear in the comments. Beautiful friend, thank you for joining me for this January 2026 video. If you would like to know what 2026 holds for you, I am doing year ahead astrology consultations. You can go to my website. The links are below in the description box. They tell you all about what you will get from your 2026 year ahead reading. I go through all the transits month by month, and you come away with some action steps and coaching insights from me so that you can really make the most of this epic year. But also we could do a natal chart, heart's desire, life purpose reading, or a 90-minute astrology consultation if you would like some coaching on something that is really up for you right now. Go to my website, check out the testimonials that other clients have left after working with me, and you should get a sense of whether you feel called. And it is my absolute joy to meet you on Zoom. Thank you for liking this video, for leaving me a comment, for subscribing. When you subscribe, you let the algorithm know that you appreciate the channel, and it really does help me stay here on YouTube for you. As promised, I have a free gift for you. That free gift is a soothing guided meditation connecting you to the unconditional divine source, to your own guides. To receive a gift from the divine as well, go to my website, subscribe for free to my weekly inspirational astrology updates. You'll get your free gift instant download at the same time, my beautiful friend. Let me know how you are feeling about 2026. And until my next video, I'm sending you all my love.